You're watching news here on the Rise News. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, says it has not issued any directive authorizing a new petrol price regime in Nigeria. The company said fuel pricing is the responsibility of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The NNPC spokesperson, Garabuddin Muhammad, said that the NNPC no longer approves pump price review and only the Midstream and Downstream Authority could speak on what price regime the government has approved. NNPC issued a clarification following the official silence from the NMDPRA since petrol filling stations adjusted their pump price within the 170 to the 200 naira per litre band as against the regulated price of 165 naira per litre. Now, joining us to discuss the pump price adjustment and NNPC rebranding is the president of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Dr. Gillis Harry. Great to have you on Newsday. Now, let's start it off by asking, what's your reaction to the newly announced pump price for fuel here in Nigeria?
Well, first of all, it's a good news to know that the NNPC, the Nigerian government, the Midstream and Downstream Authority are listening to the plight of marketers. I have really not seen any official pronouncement on this, either from the PPMC or NNPC or NMDPRA. But of course, there's a deluge of social media messages showing new pricing templates and so on and so forth. The least that I can say in my capacity as National President of Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria is that if indeed the price review is coming, it is a good thing and it's a good day. It's better for us to have a price that can keep business afloat and ensure that there is petroleum product, especially PMS, in our retail outlets that none. So I do hope that these social media information that's flying around is actually from NNPC, even though today I'm seeing that there was some sort of backtrack on that from NNPC. But the reality is that marketers are suffering. There is just no way 165 naira per litre can be sustained. That we have been singing for the last few months. And of course, you can see the telltale signs where petroleum product is not available at the retail outlets. And you are seeing black marketers thriving in the back, selling at 400 naira a litre, 350, and so on and so forth. So it might be a better idea if there is indeed a plan and a desire to review the price slightly, or perhaps at least do a gradual increase that's not going to shock the system, which is what I saw in those social media posts. But however, we haven't gotten any official confirmation from NNPC or from PPMC or from the NMDPRA.
And we are waiting on that official confirmation. But I wanted to talk about the new NNPC. Now, we saw its launch yesterday to a lot of pomp and circumstance and amongst a lot of stakeholders in the industry. Now, this new NNPC, is it going to increase its retail market share from 547 filling stations to 15,000 pan Nigeria, 1,500, excuse me. That's the plan, that is. But how would this impact your own organization?
Well, right now in Nigeria, there are over 39,000 registered retail outlets in Nigeria. And NNPC retail outlets, of course, there are very few in different states of the Federation. So if there is a plan by the new NNPC Limited to increase the retail outlets that are going to be owned or managed or leased by NNPC, it's not a bad idea. But of course, it does not impact negatively on our business. We are even happy that NNPC is going to operate as a limited liability company on the same platform as any one company that's running from our associations. Because at the end of the day, we should have the entire market focused on servicing Nigerians efficiently than worrying about NNPC imported, NNPC didn't import. I think what we should be focused about is the modalities of doing the business in such a way that there is value that is gotten from the transmutation of NNPC to its present nomenclature. It will always be NNPC anyway. So we hope that this plan of putting 1,500 filling stations come to fruition, and we are ready to ensure that NNPC is assisted. Of course, lots of our retail outlets are also part of the NNPC, chain. So that's the reality. We should all be allowed to import on a flat foot. We should all be doing business, on a platform that is fair, just, and equitable across the board. So NNPC should not have any extraordinary, advantage over any other company that's operating in the industry. So I think that this is what we should be discussing about now, not to worry much about the transportation or the change of nomenclature of NNPC. NNPC primarily today is still held by government. So the other thing that we need to talk about is that NNPC should open up and make itself a public company for Nigerians to buy shares into it and really know how the company operates profitably for the good of the Nigerian economy. I think that's what we should focus on.
All right, that's what you should focus on. But you spoke about importation. Now, in your view, do you think importation of petroleum product is sustainable? And what's the way out, if not?
Well, I don't think Nigeria should depend on importation of petroleum products. We are very insistent. In reality, any product that's either is imported or refined is meant mostly for my members, because we are the ones that are actually pushing these products in the market for the end users to use. So we are advocating that the federal government should partner with the stakeholders, MOMAN, IPMAN, PETROAN, DAPMAN, all of these stakeholder associations, to work with and take over the Nigerian current refineries. We need to have these refineries working. We need these refineries to refine in country so that we will not be priced, so long as we're importing PMS and our focus is the dollar denomination, we are not going to get the pricing right that will favor Nigerians. So the earlier we stop importation, the better for us. And the way to do it is just to be determined, get the stakeholders on the table, and let us all come with strategic business models that can change, the availability of refined petroleum products in Nigeria, whether it's aviation fuel or it's prime motor spirit or it's automotive gas oil or any other, refined product that is coming out from the refineries. So I think the ultimate good is for our refineries to start working.
That's very well said. Now, the stakeholders, it seems, are very well versed in what the issues are within the industry and maybe how to tackle them. And it seems like plans are being put in place to do so, especially with, the PIA bill, the rebranding of NNPC, et cetera. But the concern is the average Nigerian whose quality of life has been deteriorating in the last couple of months. We know that the pump price has gone up. This has been an issue with Nigerians before, back in 2012, but we won't even go there. We just know that it will increase the hardship for many average Nigerians around. A lot of them might not understand the reasoning for why the pump price is going up. And I'm not sure the government has done enough to explain to them in layman's terms exactly why the situation is the way it is. Think from the average Nigerian. We are an oil producing nation and we are making no profits. We hear of lots of countries around the world that are making profits, especially since lockdown and the COVID spike and oil. And we are seeing no dividends of that. So how do you suggest the government go about sensitizing to the nation what is happening and the importance of why it needs to happen. Because even as of today, with the rumors of the pump price going up, we know that there were protests in certain parts. The NLC is furious. They have threatened to bring the country to a standstill once before. They said they've done it before. They threatened to do so in January, and we saw them protesting today. What would you say about how to go about doing that so it doesn't lead to chaos?
Well, first of all, let me appeal to Nigerians that are protesting and creating some more difficulty for the ordinary Nigerians on the streets. It's not the way to go. So we should not even think about protesting. But I think the government needs to do a little bit better. That's why they have associations like us. That's why I'm on this platform today explaining to Nigerians, and I have been doing this, I guess, for the last 2 years, that it's very critical for us as a country to know that this country is ours. And PMS clearly has been demonstrated as a critical factor in the growth of the economy. So it's very important that we as Nigerians don't just, fold our hands and think, well, if the prices increase, we are going to suffer. I don't think that that's the way to go. There should be quite a lot of issues that the government should do to be able to work. For instance, if petroleum product is deregulated fully and petroleum tax is waived, that is a form of encouragement to make sure that the petroleum product is reduced if we're not going to pay tax on that. So that's going to make a lot of impact. Also, some of these monies that are being invested in making sure that the petroleum product that's being sold today is sold at 165. I can tell you that NNPC is bleeding. I feel sorry for the Minister of State. I also show concern for the GMD, NNPC, and the MD, even the CEO of the NMDPRO, because they are all battling to explain something that I think it should have been easier for them to do with us as the major, grassroots stakeholders in this distribution chain. For instance, we can interface with Nigerians and let them know exactly what's going on. And we will try as much as we can to be honest and clear about the vagaries of the business. It is risky today if any retail outlet runs short of money to capitalize their product stock. It will be a worse story to tell than that there is petroleum product availability and there is just a slight change in price and then people are buying it. So I think that the government should take advantage of such mediatory, steps that the associations can come up with. And this is the best way I think it should be done. Sensitization, information, having stakeholder meetings with the industry players, even the consumers. I have always said that consumers must play a role in how this works. It shouldn't be left only to an NPC or the midstream and the downstream or the government or the ministry. But the association should be involved. The consumer should be involved. We should all know the truth. I don't think that any of this suffering is being applauded by anybody in government, because clearly you can see that everybody is struggling to make it work. But we are offering that we can make it easy. We can try to be honest. There is no Nigerian that will see the truth that will argue about it. I know that when I finish some of all these interviews, there's so much argument that comes about my position. But the reality is that I'm a Nigerian. I'm 62 years old. I love this country, and I will say the truth. I want this country to be better, and the only way to make it better is by being honest, transparent, and working towards ensuring that the economy of this country is stable and it grows. That's what it is.
All right, I want to say many thanks to you, Dr. Billy, for your time here on Newsday. You have yourself a lovely day.